a girl who we are told is 14. Still, some details of this are still emerging, really. And we've put a call into the local police force involved, Northumbria Police, but we haven't heard back from them yet. The clip shows this girl. She's a very young teenager anyway, and she's very tiny. She was at an under-18s party. So she was trying to get into somewhere called Rainton Arena in Houghton Le Spring near Sunderland in Town and Wear. So it's not the biggest crime in the world, is it? Underage trying to get in somewhere. But clearly the bouncer was, ostensibly doing his job and making sure that somebody as young as that wasn't in a place where I'm sure the alcohol was flowing if it was for 18s and overs. But what he does is beyond belief, actually. He grips both hands around the girl's throat and forces her backwards through the foyer. And he's alongside another bouncer, and there are people behind them and in front of them as well. So lots of people witnessing this. Clearly somebody filmed it, because you see in the footage that is being filmed. So loads of witnesses, nothing, not even the numbers of people around him inhibited his behaviour. This is a big and obviously very strong man, if he's got the job of a bouncer, and he is holding this girl's neck. She's a very small child, really, and he's holding her neck to the point where her tongue flops out and her eyes start to roll and her face is going red. That's how severely he was choking her. I'm told that he has been sacked. I don't know yet if he's been arrested. So we'll see what Northumbria Police have to tell us about that. But it just got me thinking about our nightlife generally in this country, particularly the more localised versions of it, where younger people might be going. How safe is it out there, or how unsafe is it out there?
I've just got a situation where my wife went with my 3 children to a restaurant to eat in London. I won't name the restaurant, but basically what happened was they'd had a nice meal. They'd come up from the restaurant, came downstairs. My wife was there, her sister was there, my 3 children were there, 2 boys and a girl. And my children went to the toilet as they were about to head on back home. And as they were, my wife was waiting in the entrance of the doorway, and there were 4 bouncers on the door. And one of the bouncers, I think he was Polish. He came up to my wife and asked why she was standing there, and she explained that she was waiting for the children. And then after 2 minutes, he came back to her and said, "You need to move from here." And my wife said, "No, I'm going to stand here. I'm going to wait." And he grabbed her by the neck and tried to choke her.
In front of you?
Yeah, no, I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there, sorry.
I actually wasn't there.
Oh, she was waiting for your son to come out.
To come out the toilet. Mm. So as my kids came out the toilet and my sister-in-law heard the commotion, the other bouncers, my kids came running up to stop the bouncer, and all the other bouncers got involved, and there was punches and kicks thrown at my children and my wife. Police were called. We called the police, and my wife was arrested because the bouncers had said that she was causing disruption. My son was arrested. They were kept in a cell overnight. I found out. I came to the police station. When I got to the police station, I had to wait till the morning. They were released without charge, because once the police had seen the video that they hadn't actually done nothing, they'd actually released them.
God. And how was your wife after that?
She was traumatised. I mean, she had bruises on her face. She had scratches on her arms. I mean, this was like this was a situation where like the bouncers were having a proper fight. I mean, my son was punched in the face. My daughter was pushed to one side. God. My other son had bruises all over his arms. And we actually rode to the restaurant.
I nearly swore. This is a restaurant, not a nightclub.
No. This is a restaurant, very famous restaurant in London where they've got bouncers. and we tried to get through to the company involved, and we didn't get any response.
So it was treated just like a little scrap between the two bouncers, even though your family were the collateral damage.
Yeah. The family were the collateral damage, and also what was most concerning was the fact the restaurant, they said they didn't want to know. Nobody wanted to know.
I went to a Christmas party, which was on my birthday, the 19th of December. And I had two companies. I'd left one company, started work for another company, and both companies had the same day Christmas party at the same restaurant, but in different rooms.
Mm.
I flitted from one room to the other to speak to different ex-colleagues and colleagues. I then, at 9 o'clock, wanted to go back to the room I was supposed to be with, and the young bouncer on the door said, "You can't go that way." And he said, "You have to go round the back." I said, "It's freezing cold and icy. I've got high heel shoes on, a black strapless dress. Do you really think I'm going to go outside in the freezing cold?" He said, "You're not going this way." I then went back into the original room, asked the barman if I could go through the kitchen. He said, "Oh, yeah, don't worry, you go through. We finished now." As I went through to the kitchen, I felt someone grab me by the hair, who started to try and drag me. I sort of let out a scream.
By your hair?
By my hair. I let out a scream, literally pushed my elbows back to try and get away. Someone grabbed me by the shoulders. Both parties from both companies ran into this kitchen. I was there. This bouncer ran off. Everybody said, what happened? So I explained it, that we called the manager. He said to me, "Oh, it's okay. It's probably a misunderstanding." I said, "I think you need to call the police." Because my thought was, if I wasn't a 34-year-old woman, what would he have done to a young girl if she refused not to go back went outside?
Well, Lord only knows.
I was out with my friends in Crawley Town, and we were at a nightclub, and there was nothing to say that I couldn't do it, although I know now that it was wrong, that I was vaping within the venue. And then I had a bouncer approach me and said, "You can't do this, you need to leave." And then to which then I said I didn't know, like my friends weren't with me at the time, so they didn't know where I was going. And then
where were they?
I think they were within the venue. I think they must have just been ordering a drink or something.
Right.
And then another security man came up to me, and then they both escorted me out, both holding my arms, one on either side. And then I was taken out, and obviously I was horrified. They were speaking to me in such a, they were really overlooking everything that was going on within the nightclub.
Were they shouting at you?
Yeah, oh gosh, shouting at me, I felt so small, and I was just, I wasn't arguing back with them. I just said,
"My friends are in here, I'm sorry."
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrific. And then I was left outside. It was so wrong.
Yeah.
And then I got home, luckily safe, and I literally...
Did you go home on your own?
Yes, I had to go home on my own.
Could you contact them by phone?
I was calling them. However, where I was, when you went into the actual club, there was no service or anything.
God.
I got home, and I literally had like a bruise on my arm, which I still have photos from now. But it was the excessive force and the way they were shouting at me. It was totally unacceptable.
And also, I mean, you were hard. I mean, you don't sound very threatening. You know, I imagine they were both much bigger than you.
Yeah.
And you'd said, "Sorry, I didn't realise," and put it out. So what's with the... it's bizarre. I mean, they just liked it, didn't they? They're just bullies.
That's exactly how I viewed it. And then the day after that had happened, I was obviously in shock. And the same thing had happened to another girl. However, they'd actually taken a photo of her outside crying and posted it on their social media.